guys, welcome to another URBONUS episode on Monday. We were supposed to come out here on Saturday, but we changed our plans because we thought, okay, it's not really clear what's happening with these quarterfinals after Friday's game, so we didn't want to do it on Saturday. We wanted to wait for all the quarterfinals to be clear. And now we got them clear, and we'll have a very special episode today with Augustas Šuliauskas, Rytis Vyšniauskas, and myself, Gytis Blaževičius. They will reflect on those last group games that we haven't talked about yet. Plus, we'll preview all the quarterfinal matchups and do some predictions even, I believe, at the end of those. And why I say it's special, because at the end of the episode, we'll transition to a BM Plus part where we'll answer all the Q&A questions we got from our BM Plus community members. So that's a long introduction, but we don't have much time to talk about these details. Let's get right into the meat of the things. First matchup, Germany and Greece. Let's start with Team Germany, who close out their group stage with a dominant win against France, the hosts of the Olympics, 85-71. And I don't know, guys. For me, this performance was enough to convince me that Germany is the second best team in this tournament. Do you agree?
I tried telling y'all before the tournament that they were the second best team, but if there was any doubt after the first two matches, then for sure the one against France proved us that they are still the world champions. They're still the force to be considered with. Wow, I mean, Franz Wagner and the whole Germany team came out with aggressive playing, I don't know, with a chip on their shoulder, whether that's because against Wemby or whether that's because, the home crowd was there. But I don't know. To me, Franz Wagner and Moritz Wagner had more energy than anybody else. And I think it kind of, helped the others also to ignite them, to play their best. From the first minute, Dennis Schroeder was happy to take on Victor Wembanyama on switches. And then just France took over. Their offense looked beautiful, just as it looked last year.
You mean France? Oh, France. Okay, sorry.
France.
Yeah, France. Yeah, because it sounds like you said France.
Not the country, the man.
Yeah. France's offense? No, I would. Bro, let's keep that for later. Let's keep that for later.
That poster dunk on Cordinier and a little bit of an resort. I think Rytis actually, for lack of a better expression, came on live television when he saw that, because your reaction was like, oh, something like that. That's my impression of it.
Wow, you do realize that children watch our podcast?
I don't think so. Actually.
Wow.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any children watching this.
Okay, man.
But
okay.
That dunk, insane. I watched it by now. I have watched it like 50 times probably, and why your colleague was like, calm down, it's only basketball. Bro, this was the best dunk of the Olympics.
Yeah, I agree.
What you mean?
And Rytis usually doesn't let out a lot of emotion, and this is one of those moments where it's very appropriate to do so, but then your colleague was like, none of this. Let's stay calm, it's just basketball.
I don't know, you have to ask him. I said hang it in the Louvre. Honestly, before that, there was this insane dunk where he just switched hands.
On Wemby.
And he dunked with his left hand. So I didn't think he could top that, but that dunk, basically, you see that frame where he's in the air against 4 French players.
That one looks just sick.
That is insane, but we knew what he's capable of. Like, the first 2 games for Germany seemed like some warm-up games. They didn't play their best basketball against Japan or Brazil, but it was just enough for them to secure a convincing win on both occasions. Here against France, they definitely played playoff basketball like it's a medal game. But to be honest, that game to me was more about how bad France is right now than about how great Germany is, because I know this German team. I know what they can do. I know Dennis Schroeder. I know the Wagner bros and everything. It's the same team from last year. I wasn't surprised that they can do that. I wasn't surprised that they won. I wasn't surprised with the fashion, the way they won the game. But France, 25 points in the first half.
We'll get to France when we get to their matchup. Actually,
I know, but I'm just saying that my conclusions about this game are more about the issues in this French team than the greatness of this German team. Because I agree that Germany is the second best team in the tournament, with Canada being really close third. But France, man, I'm speechless, man. I'm speechless.
And do you guys think after this game, I mean, like Rita said, maybe you shouldn't make conclusions after this game because of, this was more about how bad France was, but do you now think that Germany has a legitimate chance to challenge the USA for gold? We know they're on different sides of the bracket, so
they do. I mean, it's one game, but I cannot say that they will definitely be in the final. First of all, because if you think that Germany can beat Team USA in one game, can't you think like Greece can beat them in one game, or whoever they face in the semifinal, Canada. So I think those teams like Canada, or I'm not sure about Greece because I still have too many doubts about them, but still they have Giannis. So I think those teams are closer to Germany than Germany is to USA. So yes, they can win the gold medal, but for that to happen, first of all, they have to beat what's in front of them. You cannot start thinking about Germany versus USA matchup. You're such a long way from that. I mean, you see, even in this quarterfinal, they're the favorites, right? They're the champions. Greece just somehow survived, and they're in the quarterfinal. But and when you get a team like Greece with Giannis in the quarterfinal, you cannot be sure.
Yeah. Let's move on to the Greeks' last game that they had. Like you said, they pulled it out. Although, 71-77 win, and then they needed some favorable results, which they got to advance, but could have been so much easier. It would have been a calm night for all the Greeks if they just kept the lead that they had. They had a 19-point lead at one point, I think, in the third quarter, and they only needed a 10-point win to guarantee their second spot in the Group A. But you said on our WhatsApp group, I feel like ultimate choke is incoming. Could you explain me what happened in that fourth quarter? What happened to Greece that they almost actually let it go against Australia?
It happened how many, 3 days ago?
Yeah.
But it seems like a week at least. That game, so much of basketball and in general sports happened. But I think, with Greece, it's always kind of this roller coaster that you have, because in the start they were making shots. I think they had 5 threes made in the first half or first quarter. They were playing great because basically of what Giannis does, because of Thomas Walkup hit shots, because Nick had his frees as well. And it just makes all the difference in the world for Greece. Can their guards, or basically their perimeter players, can you punish in closeouts? And that's exactly what we're going to see in the quarterfinal against Germany for sure. You have these, since you have Giannis and the pick and roll with Giannis is working so perfectly, like when he sets the screens, you will have so many opportunities where he just kicks the ball out, or Greece guards passes around the perimeter. And if guards can make the shot or drive inside and make the floaters or whatever, those shots. So later, I thought they made a couple of defensive miscommunications that were there. Patty Mills was left wide open. They did not make as much shots in there, and they had 18 points in 17 minutes in the second half. It was this run before they made this late run in the fourth quarter. So they started to play some bad offense, and one thing led to another, and they had this down moment. But in the end, they made the shots when it mattered the most. I thought, I think Toliopoulos
hit
right?
that
The most important shot was Toliopoulos for sure.
It was a 2-point game, and I think he hit 3 with like 2 minutes and a bit to go, and that got them back the lead.
I was surprised because the first moment it was Giannis catching the ball at the elbow, and then he drove, I think, and made a layup, and I was like, why Australia does not help from Nick Kalates, who is in the corner wide open? Like, you need to first think about Giannis' drive, because if you're not thinking about that, he will make the layup. And if you help, then, the others are shooting, and that's still a way better choice. And on the second occasion, same play, Giannis has the ball. Someone from Australia, I think Patty Mills, is there super early from Toliopoulos, who is one pass away. Bam, you close the driving gap, but then the Greeks answer, and they make that shot, and they close the game. So I thought that was two, you could say, defensive miscommunications, not miscommunications. I mean, there was no closeout on Toliopoulos. He was wide open, but kudos to him for actually making that shot when it mattered the most.
Yeah. I have a quick question to you, Rytis.
Yeah.
Do you think Greece can be successful offensively without Giannis on the court? Because that's what my main thought was looking at this game. I was like, without him, the offense is just stuck.
But we're talking about 2 or 3 minutes.
Or 7 minutes. Like
or 7.
I think in quarterfinal, it has to be
He'll play
4.
above 35 minutes, I think. So when he's resting, you just have to survive. Whether it's through your defense, whether it's through some random shots, you just have to survive. It's just how it is with these star players. And it happens not only in FIBA, it happens in the NBA. Like when Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving is resting, you have to survive those minutes somehow. And can they play great offense without Giannis? No. But do they need to play great offense without Giannis? Also no, because I wouldn't be surprised if he plays 40 minutes, honestly, in a quarterfinal game. But if he gets like a couple of minutes of rest at the beginning of the second quarter, and let's say a couple of minutes at the end of the third, it's not a big deal as long as he stays out of foul trouble. But about that game, to add to what August already said, I think the comeback has to be credited to Australia rather than Greece not doing something right. Because, Greece scored in the first half, 56 points?
Yeah.
Well, you don't really expect that to be sustainable when you're talking about a team that depends on Nick Kalates or Thomas Walkup shooting the ball. So you were kind of expecting to have a lower score in the second half. But then Australia came out super aggressive, understanding that, okay, we might not win this game, but we have to do everything that we can to cut the margin. And Brian Gorian made some good decisions. Like those couple of minutes of the veteran Matthew Dellavedova were great energy-wise, and it sparked the team somehow. They had to play without Jock Landale for extended minutes because of his personal fouls, but they managed to cope with that. And they found some answers in the second half. I think they were more aggressive defensively. So for that comeback, I credit Australia. I don't want to say that Spanoulis was making mistakes or Greece in general.
No, but Australia were at the same point were super sloppy. So in the first half.
But you know the talent that they have, and you know that they can make runs during a basketball game. So for example, Josh Giddey in the first 2 games, he was magnificent in the first half and kind of stopped in the second. It was vice versa in this game. In the first half, he didn't seem like that floor general they depend on, they rely on. And then in the second half, things are getting better. Patty Mills managed to score some buckets, although for him, it's a tough tournament so far.
Yeah, we'll get to Australia in a bit because we have the next matchup.
I just said in the context of this game, how I saw the game.
We'll need to talk about this game again when we talk about Australia a little bit. And now I guess it's time to do the predictions. I don't know who wants to start.
Greece, Germany?
Yes, we are going with Greece, Germany predictions.
I still have that 2022 game in my mind.
Yeah.
There's that.
Probably one of the best FIBA games I've witnessed live as a commentator.
Oh, you did that.
In
Okay.
Berlin, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was a great game.
But do you think, I mean, for sure, Greece have a chance.
Yeah.
For sure, they have a chance. But I think so many things have to fall in the right places for them to actually make a surprise there. Because first of all, Germany is a team that shoots a lot of frees and usually makes a lot of frees. You know, responding.
You think Isaac Bonga will miss a corner free?
He was 2 for 2 in this game, I think. 2 of 3, but I think that the one free he missed.
But now he's hitting contested shots. He even hit a buzzer beater.
I'm telling you, it seems like he's not missing from the corner.
He's becoming a corner free
automatic.
specialist.
So, can you win responding to frees, responding with twos? That's a question. If this will be the day when Greek guards make frees above 35%, you need that to beat Germany. How will you stop Franz Wagner? Who will stop Dennis Schroeder? How are you guarding that offensive flow? You probably have the defensive tools, but Daniel Theis will probably be on Giannis to start. They kind of have a great initial Giannis stopper, if you can call anyone Giannis stopper. Giannis limiter, if that's an English word. Container. Container.
Container doesn't sound right.
No. So I think, Germany is the heavy favorite here. And I would give them, I don't know, 85% of advancing in this game. I don't really see an upset happening here.
They do have great bodies to form that wall against Giannis Antetokounmpo, because it's not only Theis. When you send help, it's going to be Franz Wagner, it's going to be Isaac Bonga. These are big bodies. Even when Theis is on the bench, you have a really tough guy in Maurice Wagner. You have Johannes Thiemann. They are set for everything that Greece can throw against them.
Probably Theis and then Mo Wagner will be on Giannis.
Primary defenders.
Yeah.
And then when we talk about help defense, as I said,
there will be a lot of that too.
There's also big bodies, physical players. For Greece to win, I think Germany has to have a really bad shooting night. Like Franz Wagner has to miss his spot-up shots. Dennis Schroeder.
Dennis has to go like 3 of 17.
Yeah, should be the game where he's not hot as he was in the group stage.
And he's actually like, sometimes we have these games where Dennis he's shooting bad and then he's, kind of doing too much sometimes a little bit instead of giving the ball up to others. But I think for the last couple of years, he has proved that when he feels that it's not his day, he knows that he has France, he has others on his team.
In simple terms, for Greece to win, the game needs to get kind of ugly. I'm predicting Germany to advance for sure, but I'm also predicting a tough game for them. Let's say an 8-point win or something like that. I expect this to be the Andy Obst game, because in the group stage, they didn't run too many sets for him. As we know, they can do.
They're keeping this from the
World
USA
Cup.
in the final.
But maybe also remembering the 2022 matchup, Obst was a key player in that quarterfinal. So I kind of expect Gordy Herbert to put more trust on Obst, and we might see him taking more shots, or even his off-ball movement might confuse the Greek defense. So I pick Germany to advance, but in a close game.
Yeah, I feel like you guys said everything I wanted to say as well. We're talking about pretty much one of the best defenses with Germany, only 74 points allowed, and third best offense so far in the tournament. And with Greece, who are struggling to create offense without Giannis, or even with Giannis when...
they create it, just don't make shots.
Exactly. So I know it's like, they say the offense wins you games, defense wins you championships, but
no, that hasn't been the truth in the last 5
Evan
years.
Fournier said it perfectly. Now your defense relies on your offense. Back in the day, it was the opposite.
Yeah. So I also go with with Germany, and now
Damn.
everyone's gonna hate us in the comments.
3-0 for Germany?
Yeah.
Well, why would anybody hate us? It's like the obvious pick,
No.
even if you're a Greek fan.
We good.
But also, to be fair, I said that Greece will probably lose against Australia, and they won. And I said that they'll win against Spain, and they lost. So far, what I've been saying has been the opposite. So maybe it's good. I'm predicting Greek loss. Maybe there's a curse. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely that.
Just like Panathinaikos results depend on me.
Yes, exactly. A quick message from our sponsor, Hostinger. They are offering you a special code BNews10, with which you can get 10% off of all hosting plans. They are a company that provides you with everything you need when creating a website, starting from the domain that you get for free. Then the AI website builder they have really helps you to create the website in a faster, quicker way without really needing to know so much. I mean, there's also templates. They have over 150 templates that you can use for your websites. There's other AI tools like you can write your SEO text, SEO-friendly text that then is being, when search is going to be on the top of your search results and stuff like that. Just a lot of great things with Hostinger. Definitely check them out at hostinger.com. Guys, what's your favorite feature that Hostinger provides?
To me, probably that basically I don't have a one feature, my favorite. My favorite thing is that it takes the work of 3 or 4 people and just does it all with a little help from you, does it all by yourself. So instead of hiring 3 people or going to ask 3 people or 4 people about what to do here, what you should do here, I just can go to Hostinger, AI website builder, and it helps me to do everything. That's my favorite part, probably.
Have you done your Ritas Burgers website so far? Not yet.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I can say that hosting a party is easy. You just invite your friends and you have a party.
Pretty
but hosting
simple.
a website isn't as easy as it looks like. So that's why you need Hostinger to help you.
This guy, he likes to do a little, I don't know, last time you did it with making a burger is much, much easier than creating a website if you don't have Hostinger. I really love that one. Now he's back at it again with another one. You're actually MVP of these ads, I believe. But anyways, guys, make sure to check out all the links in the description. Like I said, 10% off of all hosting plans that are at least a year long with the code BNews10. By now, you should definitely remember it. All right, let's move on to Serbia and Australia. Serbia actually eliminated South Sudan with that last game, 96-85 win. A game that Serbia pretty much led the whole time, but it wasn't really an easy, comfortable win in my opinion whatsoever. There was that 8-0 run at the fourth quarter by South Sudan that got the game close to, I think, even 2 points or so. But I just felt in general that South Sudan was right there and felt like they were going to advance and there's going to be a real big upset in Greece with South Sudan advancing when watching this game. So I don't know if we should first talk about Serbia or give our respect to South Sudan, how they performed in their first ever Olympics first, because I think it's a great achievement what we saw from them.
It is a great achievement, and they've been so fun to watch. The way they hustle, the way they fight, the way they play. Actually, the quality is also there. You have those 3 or 4 guys like Kuol, for example, who look like Durants, like they look like KDs in their context, let's say in South Sudan context. Tall, physical players who can shoot from anywhere, and they're so tough to play against. It demands so much energy from you, like to even get a defensive rebound, because every time any South Sudanese player misses a shot, usually one of them at least touches the ball after it hits the rim. Not necessarily they get that second chance, but there's always a tip, there's always a touch. So it is so hard to beat them. And for Serbia to do that, they had to play their best players for 30 plus minutes. at least Bogdan Bogdanovic was there on the court, I think, for 32 minutes or something like that. And from the get-go, I think South Sudan had a smart plan, the way they approached Nikola Jokic in the paint. Because Puerto Rico was doing all the wrong things that you can do when you're playing against Nikola Jokic. But South Sudan, they were ready. However, Svetislav Pesic, being an experienced coach, he realized that it's better to have Jokic in this game as a rolling big, to play the two-man game, mostly with Bogdanovic, but also with Vasamicic and others. And that's the best way for him to score. So in this game, Jokic was not as much of a passer or a creator as he usually is, but he was just setting screens, getting to the rim, and finishing. And Bogdanovic, he's a killer. He's one of the FIBA GOATs. He's a killer. Correct me if I'm wrong. I read somewhere on Twitter sometimes this information is not right. You have to double check. But with this game, Bogdanovic became the top scorer for Serbia. Of all time.
I think we even had
that is impressive. That is really impressive. And you know, the South Sudan players, they play with so much passion. Sometimes maybe they forget their defensive assignments or the scouting report, because there were these two occasions in the third quarter where they went to help from Bogdanovic. Like, literally, you can leave anybody else open but him. I mean, you can live with Dobric taking that shot, even Guduric, because he's not in some great rhythm right now. But Bogdanovic, wide open freeze, I mean, that's gonna kill you. And those were that was dagger after dagger. Those shots didn't even touch rim. It only touched the net. So yeah, Bogdanovic was huge in that game. So the Bogdanovic and Jokic two-man game combined for what, like 52, 55 points. I didn't bring my tablet. I don't have the box score. I'm just speaking from my memory. But South Sudan, you gotta love them. You gotta love them. Even Pesic gave a lot of credit to them, saying like in 10 years everyone's going to be playing the way they are playing right now, and they do have the tools to play that way. They still have some good players that couldn't compete this time, like Bol or Thonmaker. The size, the skill, they have it all, and I think they have a smart coach in Royal Ivy as well, who's a great fit for that team.
They're like basically what NBA has been heading towards. The direction has been in the NBA league. You know, for the last 5 years, almost everyone wants to play that way. You know, you have basically, you could say it was kind of similar to what Boston Celtics, where, you know, these last couple of years playing with 5 wing players.
Positionless basketball where everyone can shoot.
Yeah, everyone can shoot, everyone has skill, everyone can attack the closeouts, everyone can play pick and rolls. There's not a lot of tactics, some simple things to get your offense going, but it's mainly playing off your strength. So it was really fun seeing them. All 5 guys can switch.
Yeah. They have like only one pure guard in that team, that is Kerlik Jones, and he actually played 40 minutes.
So
as usual in this tournament.
I mean, in other games, he was subbed out for at least a couple of minutes, but now this was this was a do or die game, so he played the whole 40 minutes. Because in the end, they were still fighting for the point difference. They were trying to lose by 2 points. Because to avoid the loss was probably impossible in the last minute, but they still fought till the very end. Nuni Omot is another player that really, really impressed me in this tournament.
A lot of guys impressed me from that
Anything
team.
Else to add about Serbia, Augustus? Or should we move on to Australia now? So
let's move to Australia.
I just have to say, like, Serbia has depth. They have good backup players for every position. They look like a team that is ready for a medal run, but this competition is crazy. This competition is so strong. Like, even when you play good, you might end up with nothing. So, but Serbia definitely look good after this group stage.
Yeah. And talking about Australia, we spoke a little bit about it already when we spoke about the Greece's game against them. Are you guys also seeing like for me, when we saw Australia in the friendly games, after that, I was quite hyped on them. I put them 5th in my power ranking. And now these 2 losses that they had against Canada, against Greece, I feel like we're seeing some red flags in their offense, struggling to actually score, just not making the shots. And this game against Greece, they actually missed half of their free throws, 10 of 21.
Yeah, that was really bad.
You know what? Talking about Australia, I agree with that. And I even have a point that it's kind of similar, but it goes a bit further. It's like, I haven't seen Australia play 40 minutes well. They kind of have, in every game, they have one half that is really great basketball, and the other 20 minutes or 10 or 15 minutes of those 20 are just, poor. And it's not enough, as Rita said, in this competition of such a high level. I don't think that's enough to actually win you a medal. Who knows? They might have a solid 40 minutes against Serbia, but from the experience of these 3 games, I haven't really seen them to play the same level of basketball for the 40 minutes, and I think that has been the biggest problem. Like, the first half against Greece was really bad. Extremely bad, and allowing 50 plus points to Greece, scoring only 33, and I thought Greece had a great job because they went to switching, and that immediately negates Josh Giddey. And since they made shots, Australia didn't have chances in transition, so that's 2 of your 3 main weapons in the offense. And so I don't know. I was hyped about Australia, but you are right. We are seeing their weak spots, and I think Serbia will try to use those for sure. Although, they don't necessarily have the tools to actually switch defensively, I think, with Jokic. I don't think that will be the idea for Serbia. So it might allow Australia to have a much better game than they had against Greece.
Even South Sudan, they were involving Jokic in every pick and roll. And that's the right way to play. Like, Jokic is not the player you can stop or prevent from getting his numbers, but you need to make him to earn everything, to work hard for every point, every assist, and also, well, at least to suffer a little bit on defense. So I think South Sudan managed to do that, and Australia should try to do that as well. The problem with Australia is I don't really trust their second unit. I don't think they have enough depth. I don't think they have enough help from the bench. I know that since Dante Exum got back in the rotation, things got better. And on the bright side, they have young players performing really well, like Dyson Daniels. Josh Giddey, not consistent, but we saw at least from the 120 minutes they played, at least like 50 minutes of good Josh Giddey. And the rest, not so great, but still he's probably the key player right now, as you cannot depend on Patty Mills dropping 30 anymore. It's not 2008, it's not 2016, or not even 2021.
He's shooting 35%, Patty Mills, and
because other guards are just making it tough for him. Canada did that, Greece did that. Maybe Spain couldn't do that, but Serbia, knowing they have guys like Avramovic, they have guys that can play aggressive defense like Dobric or Guduric, they will probably also limit Patty Mills' ability to score.
And on top of that 35% shooting, 3.7 turnovers with 1.3 only assists. So,
but I would say he was being defended in a hard way even before. It's more about the fact that he's now 36 and he's not the same Patty Mills than the matchups, I feel like. Because he used to make the shots that he now misses from pulling up from mid-range and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, he used to be the fastest player on the court.
That's true. Yeah,
that probably isn't anymore. Jock Landale is going to be a key player, in my opinion. His matchup versus Jokic, obviously, is going to be super important. And as it is with Giannis, it's not just about one man. It's going to be team effort, how you help each other, double, send help from the weak side and all that stuff, and take risks. But just don't gamble on Bogdanovic. Like, if you want to gamble, just make sure it's not Bogdanovic that you're leaving wide open. And Landale needs to stay out of foul trouble, Because I remember some of his matchups versus Jokic, even in the playoffs, Phoenix Suns, Denver Nuggets, he just couldn't cope with him.
Yeah.
He fouled him too many times. And Australia, if they have to put a backup center on the court, I think they're going to suffer because what they have is Duop Reith and the other option is just
Magne.
Magne,
yeah.
I don't know.
And he looks more of a forward to me, like Nick Caden, rather than a true center.
It'll have to be a team effort of trying to limit Jokic. I would probably, it has been well documented in the NBA that if you allow Jokic to go into the post and play one-on-one, that's the most efficient thing Denver had all year. Like, if you're considering points per possession.
He's the best post-up player in the world.
Exactly. And the numbers drop significantly down when you double him and when the other players of Denver Nuggets had to try and make shots. But, other teams in the NBA have different lengths, have different players. Australia have lengthy wings, so they could actually try double and then try to live with others shooting. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
As long as it's not Bogdanovic.
Exactly. I think Australia has the tools to pull off an upset here.
But is that your prediction? I know there is a possibility in any game,
I think, I said Germany 80-85% chance of winning. I would say Serbia 60% chance of winning.
Okay.
60-40.
So 50 for Serbia.
55-45.
But if let's make predictions.
Let's
make our bracket.
Serbia winning by...
You're picking Serbia to advance.
I'm picking Serbia to advance.
Somebody has to be the guy who says something against the odds.
Controversial? Okay.
I can say Australia.
No, he's gonna be the one.
I mean,
He wants to be the one. He's a Boomers fan.
No, wait.
He said that.
I am a Patty Mills fan, a diehard Patty Mills fan.
So wait, are you sticking with Serbia or what is happening?
Ritis, what do you think Serbia's chances of winning, like percentage-wise?
I'm close to 70.
Okay.
But then I'm picking Australia because I said less percentage.
Right.
Percentage.
Go ahead. I'll pick Serbia, but nothing can surprise me in this game. Australia, I know it's not the same Australia that we were used to watching in the previous Olympics, but they still have that mentality. They're still super tough. You can still expect them to beat a great European team.
Yep.
What do you think is?
I also have Serbia winning here, like Ritas, because I just feel like if we talk about form, which team is more in form right now, I would say Serbia is definitely more in shape to win this game, and they look better than Australia at the moment. So I would even go as far as to say a double-digit win for Serbia. I'll be the most bold in terms of these. I'll go with the double-digit win for Serbia. And because they had like a friendly game before, and I know that Australia won that, but that's first of all a friendly game. Second of all, Bogdanovic wasn't playing, so we shouldn't judge it off.
Anything.
Yeah, something a month ago. Let's move on to the next matchup, which is Canada and France. I'm not gonna make jokes like that because
you wanted to say something about Canada being French.
About the colonized versus the colonizers.
Ooh.
But anyways, moving on. First, let's start with...
You're not a colleague. You are one. Nice.
What a game we saw between Canada and Spain, right?
They're not like us.
They're not like us.
Well, I didn't know.
Who will sing this game after? Who will sing this song after the game? They're not like us.
Collet?
I don't know. Yeah, because...
Let's first talk about the game we saw between Canada and Spain. Spain had a chance to actually come out first out of that Group A.
It was crazy to
fell
think
down
that
to fourth.
Like one shot decided whether they're first or fourth. It's crazy to think that.
What happened in the fourth quarter with Brizuela, guys?
Dario Brizuela happened.
Dario Brizuela just decided to...
This is what happened.
I don't know.
That was the second coming of Juan Carlos Navarro. Man, there's nothing you can say. Huge credit to Sergio Scariolo. Like in the decisive game in the Olympics, in the fourth quarter, you're trusting your basically 11th and 12th man to step up. it was Pradilla, and it was Brusela.
It was like Scariolo just taking the wild card out his back pocket and like, here, now take this. This is my last try. And
and you know, Brusela, he has the nickname the Basque Mamba, not for nothing. He can score. And I think the first shot gave him confidence, and then he got the freedom to play the way he loves playing, the way I saw him playing, let's say, for Unicaja Malaga. So yeah, it happened, and I think the Canadians just for a couple of minutes couldn't understand what the hell is going on here, because
there was nothing about
who is this
Brizuela
man
on our scouting report.
Who is this man? Why is he scoring?
Guys, I don't think there was Brizuela. There was like number 8 or whatever his number is. Like, yo, number 8, we didn't have that on scouting report.
And then at some point, Dylan Brooks said, I got him.
Yeah, I love that. I love that when I'm like, okay, 2 possessions in, he's not guarding Brizuela, and then like you see Brooks on Brizuela, and it's like, oh yeah. That's the respect now.
It took like 3 or 4 possessions of Murray actually being really bad on team defense and leaving Brizuela wide open, or just like on a pick and roll defense, he dropped too far or something like that, and then Brizuela scored, and then it was like, now Dylan Brooks on him, and then if we switch with Lou Dort.
Yeah.
You got the best of our defense now, and prove it. But to be honest, it wasn't just that. I feel like Spain generally turned it up in that fourth quarter. What else do you think led? Was it more of a lapse from Canada that led to this really close ending, or was it Spain stepping up?
I don't know. I mean, it was offensive rebounds obviously were a huge part of that game. I'm probably going to talk more about Canada in the context of
17
France.
Offensive rebounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of offensive. It's a lot of second chances. I'm going to talk about Canada more in the context of France later. I just want to say that this Spanish team is just legendary, because you're always writing them off. That was the same story in 2022 in the Eurobasket. In the last World Cup, we were also saying that they even didn't have Lorenzo Brown. But again, they faced Canada, and the winner goes to the quarterfinal, and that game was decided
same story
in the last minute. So, and they're facing each other again, and now you're still thinking like Canada is the clear favorite. Okay, so for Canada, the game wasn't that big, because if they lose, they're still the second seed in the group. They're fine, but they needed that win obviously to
be on the other side of the bracket.
So Spain just managed to somehow stay in the game. I think there were some crucial moments during the game, even in the first half, where it seemed like Canada can break away. But Spain found some responses, even in a game where Santi Aldama wasn't hitting threes and Lorenzo Brown was just locked.
I mean, yeah.
Lorenzo Brown was locked for the whole tournament. So
yeah, he had some moments, let's say, against Greece. But in the first game against Australia, against physical defense, and in this case against Canada, also very physical
5
defense.
turnovers for
basically NBA defenders, wing stoppers that are taller than him, quicker than him, stronger than him.
There was just a decision for Scariolo to make, because you could see that the team in the fourth quarter has a better chance without Lorenzo Brown.
Yeah.
So he decided to leave him on the bench, to play with Dario Brusela and try something different. And just huge respect to the legends of the game. As I said, Rudy Fernandez retiring from basketball. He played his very last game being injured, which was the case with him for the last 5 or 6 years, always playing through injuries. But still, every summer,
always with that thing on his
every summer
elbow.
he would still show up and play for Spain. Sergio Llull, I actually didn't expect him to have that big of a role in this team. He took the most threes from the whole team.
Might be the most field goals as well.
9 in this game, and then 15 in one of the others, and 6 against Greece.
How special it would have been if Sergio Llull extends Rudy Fernandez's career with a crazy buzzer beater shot from his own end of the court.
And from his reaction, you could actually see that he was thinking there is a good chance of that going in, and that it wasn't
He's
that
seen
far.
it go in many times before, so
He's seen it many times to go in to believe that. But I think the key difference in this game was that for one team it was a matter of whether you're first and second, and that's important. But for the other team, it was a do or die moment. So they were just trying everything. They're giving it all because they knew that if they lose, there is no tomorrow. So you could see every guy just giving it all. And then Dario Brizuela, these 17 offensive rebounds are kind of the result of trying to just do your best, give 100%. So
and Scariolo was doing his usual stuff. Like from the beginning of the third quarter, as you could expect, box and one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has Abrinas on him. The other 4 players are guarding in the zone, and that really limited Shai's touches of the basketball, because there were so many possessions where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would just stand in the corner with Abrinas next to him, and the others were trying to play. So it was big for Canada that Andrew Nembhard showed his potential.
Damn, what a game by him.
He was a key player in that game.
Yep.
He hit some contested frees in the first half. That probably got him
felt good
confidence. And in the second half, when there was this box and one defense and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was a bit limited, Nembhard took the ball and made some great decisions.
Right, now let's move on to the other side of the equation. We have France, who I would say had a really hopeless performance against Germany. We already talked about how the Germans were good, but France was worse. I made this joke in our chat, I think. I said something like, when KD said you need to play random basketball, you couldn't describe French offense better than with the word random. What they're doing on offense is just, it's hard to explain. We're still seeing Rudy Gobert with the ball in the post. You said you were going to call police even?
Yeah, I said I'm going to call the
Gendarmeria.
Yeah, I'm going to call the cops if they do that again after the halftime. So luckily for them, they changed lineups and they stopped running their offense through Gobert's post-ups. They actually didn't even play Gobert with Wemby anymore in the second half of that game. They started the third quarter with Lasor. Is there
any hope for this
team? It's still
team?
tough to watch. I mean, if there is any hope, it has to come from the guards, from the players who actually have the ball, like Fournier, like Cordinier. Something has to change. Something needs to happen. You cannot expect Victor Wembanyama to be Kevin Durant right now. When he gets the ball and starts playing this ISO basketball with fadeaway shots, step back threes, I mean, it's not going to work. It's not the San Antonio Spurs tanking for a higher draft pick. You have to win every game, and Gobert just looks awkward in this competition so far. I mean, there's so many bad things I can say about them, but you still look at the names.
We can do another episode of things that are bad in France.
But
we have some questions in the Q&A, so we'll get
look
back
at
to
those
it.
names and you think that, they can beat almost anybody.
Look, I think they actually got the best matchup for them out of the whole team.
How come?
Because Canada is a low-scoring team. Canada hasn't shown... they're a defensive team.
I wouldn't say low scoring though, because they've been close to the 90s in all of their games.
They have 4th or 5th best offense out of the 8 remaining teams. So it's not like they're Germany or United States. Like from the opponents they could have had them, like USA, Serbia, and Germany. I think Canada is that the matchup that make them have the highest chance of winning, because probably this game will be all about the defense, and I don't think Matthew Strazel or Andrew LBC or Evan Fournier, who I'm not even sure if he's going to play in this quarterfinal, because he just went out and publicly criticized the France offense, the way they play, and Vincent Collet responded to those saying that it's not acceptable.
Usually these things don't end well.
Yeah, if these things are happening during the tournament, it doesn't sound great, and I don't believe he's the only guy that's actually thinking that in that France locker room. There is no chance he's the only guy. But
he's the most experienced guy who has the guts to say that.
Exactly.
Loud.
But at the same time, he doesn't have the game anymore, I think, to actually
do anything
talk
about
the talk.
it.
That's what sitting on a bench for 2 years does to a basketball player.
So I wrote on Twitter that France's offense is probably the worst offense I've seen in like 10 years. And so many people actually, engaged with that post, retweeting that, saying basically the same thing. And
yeah, when you think that it's France, we're not talking about some team that doesn't have quality or doesn't have talent.
Exactly.
You're judging them as an elite basketball force.
Some, they don't have the best guards, but they
have
do have Wemby, they do have Fournier, and definitely you can't compare this France team to like a Greece team in like back in 10 years ago when they wouldn't have any kind of scorers there. Like you have Wemby. I know he's not at that level yet, but you can be more creative around him. Like the guy, first 4 shots in this game was basically ISO, face-up, basketball with no reason, no movement around him. That's just ridiculous. That's just, you are putting your best player in the worst situation possible.
Plus, in my opinion, Vincent Collet has to take some blame on his roster that he assembled this year because he left out guys like Elio Kobo,
Sylvain
Francisco, I think, was still a better option than, I don't know.
LBC, for example.
Yeah.
Strazel.
Yeah.
Strazel at least saved them.
Yeah.
He saved them.
Okay.
He saved them in the game against Japan.
Even like Hifi from Paris. I mean, he hasn't proved that much yet, but we saw how he plays for in the Euro Cup. I feel like he still would have been a good option. So, anyways, I feel like predictions-wise, everything's screaming Canada for me in this game. It's not really much of a question, and I would even go as far as to say we'll see quite a blowout win because I don't see them using any advantages that they could have in this game against Canada.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pick France. I think that some magic could happen in Paris. First of all, Canada, they rely a lot on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, and other teams are prepared for that. So he needs help from others. He needs somebody else to be a ball handler. Jamal Murray, I'm not so sure if we're going to see the real Jamal Murray in these Olympics. Maybe you can put your hopes on Nembhard. Of course, R.G. Barrett has been great in this tournament.
One of the best players.
So consistent.
In the
One
Olympics.
of the best players of the whole tournament.
Yep.
But you don't really see him as the true ball handler. Like he's scoring from different situations, spot-up shots, fast breaks.
He hasn't played a pick and roll.
Cuts. Yeah, exactly. So
just a few of them.
So the pressure is on Shai, and France can be as aggressive defensively as Canada is. Maybe not necessarily they have a Lou Dort or a Dylan Brooks, but they do have Nicolas Batum and Frank Ntilikina and other guys that can play aggressive physical defense. I think it's going to be, first of all, a really, really tough game for the refs to call.
Oh, yeah.
With so much contact and everything. France, okay, so yeah, of course, they have to somehow play through their guards. Something needs to change. You got to... honestly, I wouldn't even play any minutes with Wemby and Gobert on the court. Adjust your rotations. Wemby should be playing with Yabusele or Batum next to him. Lesor could be like a third option. Some players have to make sacrifices. I know you have huge egos, but if your coach says to Rudy Gobert, like it's best for the team, like if you play 18 minutes or 20 minutes and you don't play next to Wemby, well, as a basketball player competing in the Olympics for your country, you have to sacrifice your ego, your minutes, your stats or whatever, and do what's best for the team. Maybe they can do that for one game. Canada is not unbeatable, but I understand what you're saying. So
you're going out on a limb to say that France would win.
I understand what you're saying and why you're saying that, but I'm going to pick France. I'm just going to go with the home team.
And I also think that this is going to be a really close game, actually.
Okay.
Like, as I said before, I think for France, Canada is the best matchup out of USA, of all those teams they could have gotten. And their front line is not that impressive. You know, you have Gobert and Wemby, probably like...
Spain got 17 offensive rebounds.
So, you know, with Rudy Gobert, with Wemby, with Lesor there, they could just try to make this ugly.
Just crash the boards and be aggressive.
And...
I mean,
think,
Wemby plays on the perimeter these days, so I don't know what he's crashing really.
I mean, you could, when others are shooting, you could still.
But he plays on the perimeter because he's playing in lineups with Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So if you change the lineups,
So what makes you think is gonna change, huh?
the second half of the game against Germany?
Yeah.
Because if Vincent Collet managed to make adjustments in game, maybe he can make adjustments
Between the games.
Between games.
Yeah.
I'm saying close game. Canada wins just because they have Shea. In the end, that's going to matter. But France are playing at home. It's kind of a favorable matchup. Refs are bought. The Olympics Mafia. So 3-point win for Canada.
Okay, 2-1 to Canada. And now
6-point win for France.
Okay, and I said the blowout win.
You said
23-point win for Canada. There we go. 23-point win.
37-point win for Canada. Right?
37.
23 is good enough.
98-61.
Let's say. Last game of Tuesday will be USA versus Brazil. Both of these teams had, I would say, the least exciting games of their last groups. Last group game was the least exciting.
Japan, Brazil was cool, exciting.
It was cool, yeah, because it's always fun to watch.
I was
Japan.
cheering for Japan, and they lost by 18, but just because of what happened in the last 2 minutes. They were chasing Brazil, and they cut the lead to 1 point, I think, in the beginning of the fourth or the end of the third. So the result doesn't really reflect what happened in that game. Now, it was a fun game to watch, especially knowing that was the first game of the day.
Yeah.
The morning game, as I call it.
And also for Brazil, if they didn't make that run, they wouldn't have advanced. That 18-point lead that they built, it really helped them to advance from the third seed, because they actually guaranteed themselves to be there even before we knew the results.
Yeah,
of
it was the
game.
worst result for South Sudan, because an 8-point win by Brazil would be fine for them.
Yeah.
But it was a cool game. I couldn't complain. I enjoyed watching it.
And we saw a return of Raul Neto as well, who's actually playing.
And he played a good game.
Yeah.
He played some good minutes.
And none of that matters.
I know. I'm not getting into that. Team USA versus Puerto Rico now, 50 states against the 51st state. That was a boring watch.
Yeah,
you just had to throw that
a little
in,
showcase for the Ant-Man. Also, the return of the headband LeBron James. Those are my notes for this game. I was like, okay, cool, but there's nothing about
Joel Embiid has to be in your notes as well.
Yeah, the last possession,
like the circus that happened.
Why does he has to be? Why does he has to feel to be liked by everyone? I don't understand that.
I don't think he does that. I think he started.
But
he's starting to embrace that everybody hates him.
He's a villain. He's a villain, I think.
He's a strange man. It looks
let's compare two situations. Noah Lyles does that, world champions of what? And then he responds by winning Olympic gold. Now, this guy does, boo for me, boo for me, boo for me. And throws the air ball.
He's also going to respond by winning a gold medal. It's just not going to be him.
He's going to be not playing in the gold medal game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be about him, but he's probably going to have that gold medal on his neck.
Yeah, just because they promised him minutes.
That is funny. That second game where Steve Kerr actually benched him, that makes sense basketball-wise. Now, this game against Puerto Rico didn't mean much, so he played Embiid, he started Embiid. It's interesting to see whether he'll start him or not in the semifinal, when they will definitely face a serious threat. Because Brazil, well, that will be a lifetime experience for most of these players to play against probably some of their idols. But
a lifetime chance from Bruno Caboclo to play 3 minutes.
But we're not going to sit here and pretend like there's going to be something in that game.
Yeah,
I don't know what has to happen for Brazil to actually have a chance.
To not lose by 30.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because I feel like that's the default. We start from minus 30 and then we can,
A big fight that ejects 7 American players from the game.
So they're against 4 against 5?
Maybe 8, but then still you have to think which 8 players. As long as Durant is still there, probably Team USA will win.
So what are your predictions, guys? So the Team USA on quote unquote playoff mode. Do you think they're gonna first of all come out like thinking, oh, this is just Brazil, or they're gonna come out to make a statement? Because my feeling is they're gonna come out to do what KD said before, way back a few months back. He said, we want to win against these teams 40, 50 points. I have a feeling this might be the mindset now, and I
don't
have a
think
feeling.
so, man. I
think
honestly, so. And I'm just speculating, but I think these guys, they look at the roster of the opposing team, they see Giannis, they see Jokic, they're fired up. They're gonna fight. These are the MVPs of their league.
And then they see Brazilian KD.
Christian Felicio.
They see Marcel, what is this name? Huertas? He's 40.
He played
41.
He played with Kobe? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
When was that? So
No, Anthony Edwards don't even remember that.
I don't expect anything of what you're saying. I think it's gonna be a comfortable 25-point win, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stick with my opinion that they will try to make a statement just because they can against Brazil.
I think them arriving in Paris was already a statement.
Yeah, but you know, if they want to be compared in any way to the dream team of 92, which they won't be because they're, well, let's say the world has caught up, but also I don't think they're as dominant in any way. But if they want to have at least any argument to say, oh, we are as good as the dream team of 92, I think they might want to have a little fun party with Brazil. And I predict a 50-point win for Team USA in the quarterfinal.
I think you're just a bit out of your depth, man.
Maybe.
But
we'll see.
You're like probably the American media outlets that are going to compare. Was Jason Tatum more unhappy than Joel Embiid when both two were not playing? Like, probably.
Look, man. So for them to beat Brazil by 50, they should be aggressive on defense, like pressuring the ball all the time. They're not going to do that.
Quarterfinal.
They're not going to waste energy on that.
It's the quarterfinal, though.
So
I don't know.
who cares, man? 50-point win, 20-point win, 30-point win. They're not going to waste energy just to prove a point against Brazil.
They're American.
we
I
will
think they
probably-
might do that, to be honest.
These guys are aware of the surroundings. They know that there's Jokic, there's Giannis in this competition, there's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. These are the teams that will require 100% from you. In this game, what I can predict, I can see the future. They will make a big run in the second quarter, and that's where it's gonna be over.
And the second unit is going to be
I mean,
in. Is there a second unit?
Nobody
in Team
even cares
USA?
who's the second unit on that team. Like,
Yeah.
your second unit is KD and Ant-Man?
Yeah.
What kind of second unit is that?
Yeah, that's true. So, wait, so I said a 50-point win. You
25.
25-point win in Augustus.
19.
Okay, so you're giving a little bit more.
In the
to
end, they
Brazil.
will not care enough, and Brazil.
Okay, I see your point, but I'm just we're predicting. It's all bullshit anyways. So that's it, I guess.
No, maybe it's bullshit to you. It's not bullshit for me. But
This is the most important part of my week.
Yeah.
Right,
We're
We're
guys.
going to be counting those at the end of the next week, bro.
Yes. And we're going to be held responsible for anything we said. And that's where we're going to... Yeah, sorry.
Question part now?
Yeah, we're going to go into the Q&A part of the podcast for our BM Plus subscribers. We'll talk about Team Greece and what ifs concerning them. There's some questions about them. There's questions about the ref conspiracy or controversy in South Sudan game.
And
So we'll
Serbia
answer those and many other questions. Make sure you become a BM Plus member at basketnews.com/plus if you haven't done so already. And that's it. We'll see you after the quarterfinals. Those who are not joining us in the BM Plus part.